I'm Adam Goldstein. I'm the director of the Gilded Age at City Lit Theater Company. The Gilded Age is an adaptation of Mark Twain's first collaborative novel in his career, and it's the story of an intrepid young woman finding value and agency for herself in a male-dominated world in the 19th century.
My name is Jacqueline Jones, and I am playing Laura Hawkins. I sort of had to find how to not be too sweet and to sort of go after what I want unapologetically and find the reasons why she pursues it so intently.
I've never really done an adaptation quite like this before because The Gilded Age was a co-written novel by Mark Twain and Charles Dudley Warner, and they've sort of taken Charles Dudley Warner's parts and sort of pushed them aside to focus on Mark Twain's story about Laura.
And I think that, you know, when Terry looked at this book, he sort of had the sort of wonderment of, like, could this novel, which is challenging in a lot of ways, it's Mark Twain writing with another writer, those two writers not really communicating with each other, and Terry looking at this piece saying, like, can this be stage-worthy? What is the story that gets carved out of this that is of interest to our audience?
Paul and Adam, they have this really great chemistry together, and they sort of like feed off of one another, and it's really cool to see like Adam take Paul's ideas, or like Paul like interject a thing and Adam like play with that. It's been really great.
Heroine is challenging. Laura Hawkins is our narrator, our storyteller, our murderess, and our heroine.
It can be a little cold, and some of the things that she has to say can be striking. But the important thing that we had to remember was what got her to that point. We talked actually a lot about, in pre-rehearsals and table work, about fighting for the authorship of your own story.
From a narrator's perspective, he's very much like just helping Laura tell her story and living honestly in the moment. But as the story and the play goes on, particularly once the trial scene starts to happen and she sort of starts to lose control over her own narrative, he sort of has to step in and get the audience on track as like who she really was as a person. And that's an idea Adam and Paul and I sort of talked about throughout this whole process, about how Laura's perception as a human being, like particularly because of her high status and high publicity as a public lobbyist in Washington at this point in time, she didn't really have a lot of say in who she was as a person. And Washington is sort of there to show how sort of like society and like the time sort of changed her as a person and sort of turned her into this person that is sort of viewed as like cold or like a murderess or an opportunist, so to speak. The defining moments of your life aren't really left up to you, and that can be a good thing and that can be a really, really bad thing.